Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Perry Mattfeld about Who Invited Them, streaming on Shudder September 1st. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Petey. Hi.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I love this film. You know, it's coming up pretty soon, and, we're going to snap our fingers. It's going to be spooky season. It's going to be October. What's it like working on a movie in the horror genre, knowing there's a big appetite for those movies right now?
This was my first in that genre. So this might open a whole new, can of worms for me here. But part of what attracted me to this script so much, especially being like a first timer in the horror genre, is that it is as much a comedy as it is a horror. So I guess it's more in like the thriller comedy horror world, if you're going to be really detailed about it. But
yeah, absolutely. Do you notice the genre bending?
Hard to describe.
But do you notice the genre bending component of the film? Like when you're reading the script for it, like can you tell that there's a lot kind of thrown in, or is it only when you start kind of filming it where you actually start noticing?
I remember reading it and being like, what is that? Why? It's so funny. It's, in my email, it said horror, but I'm like, it's hilarious. And then I just had no idea what to expect. But it wasn't until we had so much fun making it. So it wasn't until I saw the film cut together and I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's scary.
It's funny because it's funny because I heard about the film before there was like a trailer and everything, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You watch it and you don't have much to go by. You just go in and you hear like horror comedy and you're not sure what that's going to be like.
No, I know.
I think without going into spoilers, the banter and kind of conversations between your character and Tim's character and everyone has some kind of funny zingers in it, so to speak.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is just the dialogue in this movie. It makes you so uncomfortable, and I think that's
and it's so quick. And Duncan did such an incredible job of just writing this very smart, witty banter, but also that one of the bonuses of having him direct as well is he was there to let us play or just throw us a bone every once in a while and say, okay, let's start over, try it this, or you say this time instead of him saying this. He was, we were just playing the whole time, but a lot of the ability to be able to improv and play off each other was because we got so close making this movie. It took us 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we shot it all overnight. So 14 days straight overnight.
And
became a very tight little community there filming while the world was asleep.
So were you just basically hanging out in that house the whole time, basically?
We were in that house for 14 days. And if you think about it, because we were filming from, 5 p.m. to 7 a.m., mm-hmm. the rest of the world is asleep. So it was just us playing cards and hanging out and, our phones weren't going off necessarily. So we just got to completely focus on our little movie and obsess over it and just live in it. And it was so fun.
We want to go in as fresh as we can, Perry, but we don't give too much away.
Okay.
It's in the title, Who Invited Them? Who invited your character at this housewarming party? What is going on type thing. What can you tell us specifically about preparation for this character who has these kind of one-liners and wants to party, but there's a lot happening that you're kind of questioning? What's that preparation like specifically?
Yeah, it was. I've said before, the biggest challenge for me as an actor is when I'm playing a character who's acting. Mm-hmm. Okay, when I've got a double. I'm pretending to be someone who's pretending to be someone else. Mm-hmm. That is Sasha, the whole film until the very end, right? So that was really fun, but also a challenge. And Duncan was really helpful in that. I was trying to think who does Sasha think who is she trying to be in order to make Margot and Adam feel a certain way? You know, is she trying to make them jealous? Is she trying to make them think that she's cooler than them, that they have a better life, to make them the whole, you know, the whole fun in the game we talk about is trying to turn couples against each other. Made it really fun. And Tim and I had so much fun just adding little looks to each other that maybe only the audience will get to pick up on.
Absolutely. We want to avoid spoilers because the film, I love it so much in regards to going in fresh. Like, I think we said too much when we said housewarming party gone wrong.
You're right. Maybe we shouldn't even say that.
We're going to say that, and we're going to leave it at that. I do want to ask, so I find it very interesting. This is your first like project in like the horror realm and horror genre. Yeah. Do you have an interest though watching these films? Like, do you like horror movies?
I'm a wuss, so I get very scared. Okay. This film like does a really good job of.
That's interesting because you might or might not play a very terrifying character in this film.
Yeah, so, but I mean, the whole time you watch Who Invited Them, you're sitting on the edge of your seat. Something feels off, and you can't.
The whole time.
The whole time, something is either gonna pop. You know, you don't know where to look or what to. So
I'm
that made
so
it so
happy. You don't know how happy I am for you to say that. Like, the whole movie, you're so uncomfortable. Like the whole.
It is
time,
uncomfortable.
Yes. I think it's very but like there's movies that have kind of spurts, right? Of like everything's cool and it's like, wait a second, as soon as this party starts, like,
or even when you're laughing and you're like, I shouldn't be laughing, but that's so funny. But I
feel like I don't think it was like the comedy is there, but like I was pretty scared. Like, it's a scary movie. And
but some of it is dark, right? There is some dark stuff in there that you're like, that's really funny. I hope no one saw me just laugh so hard at that.
Now, you know it's interesting too, because I do want to ask, like, you know, the horror movie fans are very passionate fans. They eat up all the content and everything.
You know what? I've been so impressed by that and so pleased by that. Like, because I said this is my first film in that genre, like just the movie hasn't even come out yet, and the support that I've felt and that we've felt for the film is like, I can't say that I've felt that in any other genre.
So if you look at the comments of the trailer, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm in, like I want to watch it, because people are saying what I'm saying. There's this new genre of movies, Perry, like called Dinner Party Gone Wrong, where it's like this setting of like family or friends getting together for a gathering and then stuff happens, basically.
And what makes it, what keeps the stakes even higher is that the whole movie takes place in one night.
I know.
It's all one night.
But my question about the horror movie fans was, you're on a TV show that has very, very passionate fans.
True,
so I'm wondering if like, do you like big fan bases don't really surprise you because you're used to one, basically?
But I will say that the horror film fan base has been, like you said, like people have said, like, can't wait to watch it. You know, they're in before they even see it. Like, they're just going to support it because they're going to check it out. You know, I think that's really cool, and I that's not quite the same everywhere else.
You were in a few episodes of one of my favorite shows called Shameless. And one of my favorite things about that show was the complexity of the characters. And kind of like in this film, that's why I wanted to bring it up, where you can't really figure people out. Your character was very, very complex, where I couldn't read this character at all. And the characters that you were associated with, like Fiona, couldn't read it either. Is it fun to play these blurry characters where you don't really know what's happening and they're hard to read? Is that fun as an actor?
I always think what's most fun is finding the moments, especially for well-written, complex characters like that, where there are no lines, right? And those are the moments where in between lines, there's so much more said sometimes. And especially in Who Invited Them too, like Sasha has so many looks, right? And just moments where you're like, what is she thinking? Or why? There's that I love. So, I'm sorry, I'm getting.
Oh, no worries.
It's about who invited them. Anyway, so I do think, like, as an actor, that's always fun, and that usually is set up with really great writing, like on Shane.
Yeah, I don't think this is a spoiler, but I mean, Sasha wants to have a good time.
She wants to have a good time. I mean, she's fun. She
wants to have a good time.
Yes, and throughout the movie, like we played with that with Duncan too, and our producer Mary Pat, she's amazing too. She was so invested and paid such attention to details. But we played with, like, obviously they have an intention going to this party, but at what point are they also like just kicking back and enjoying the party too? You know, there's like, you can tell the lines get a little blurred even for them. This is kind of fun, you know. They get a little drunk, you'll see. So it is really fun.
And I gotta tell you something. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm on team Who Invited Them. I love this movie so much, and I was so excited to see it when I got access to screeners and everything. I was so pumped to see it because, you know, gathering gone wrong type thing. And I'm so pumped for this to be part of the horror movie marathons moving forward during spooky season. Like, this one is so good for that, and I can't wait for people to see it
too. It's so fun, and I just think it's so subtle in all of its components. It's so smart. The writing is so smart. I'm so glad that Shudder's supporting it with spooky season. I mean, that's really
spooky season's around the corner. I can't wait. I do a horror movie every night in October. I do 31 horror movies. Yes.
I've actually heard that that's a thing. I might have to jump on
Sometimes I get a little crazy and I do 2 in one night.
Well, I can't be sleeping alone if I'm doing that.
Perry, thank you so much for coming on Popternative to chat about Who Invited Them. This was so much fun.
I'm so excited for everybody to get to see it and be on the edge of their seats, laughing, looking away, everything that we did while we were making it. It's a really special little movie about, you know, 4 people, and all the relationships get a little blurred.
Absolutely. September 1st on Shudder. You have an Instagram account that people could keep up to date with as well, right?
Yeah.
Is it just your name?
It's just at Perry Mattfeld, and I have the full trailer for Who Invited Them on my Instagram as well.
The full trailer, not the partial.
The rated R trailer. The rated R trailer that I decided not to post on Instagram, but it's in my bio for those of you who don't mind. Little bit of rated R.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for your time. It was really great chatting with you.
Oh, thanks, Petey.
Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Perry Mattfeld, who you can catch in Who Invited Them, streaming September 1st on Shudder, and Petey Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.